last sheet in there is called The Activities of Daily Living, and it's got a whole bunch of stuff on there. It goes over all the basics. Sitting, we kind of covered a little bit of sitting already, but when we're sitting, and this bench is a terrible example, an example of what not to do, because this is too high for me. So see how my knees are not at 90 degrees? Your knees should really be at 90 degrees to what you're sitting at. Because if I'm sitting on something like this, I'm putting a lot of pressure right at the backs of my legs, okay? And that's not good for the blood circulation. It's also not the best angle for me to be sitting at anyway. So you really want to be at 90 degrees, okay? Also, if you're using a chair with a back support, hopefully it has a nice back support to it, or you can always purchase we have a couple different kinds here, but a lumbar support, okay, that really is good for the arch in your back, okay? Also, when you're sitting, same thing as at the computer, you can use a little footstool, okay, to put your foot on. And same thing, you want to be taking frequent breaks. If you have to sit a lot for a long period of time, that's brutal for your spine. Standing, if you're standing for a long period of time, I know we've all seen, if you go to a bar, not that any of us do, but if you go to a bar, there's usually a long rod at the bottom. That's meant so you can put one foot up on it. Hopefully people aren't sitting there for hours at an end, but you know, that happens sometimes. But that's what it's meant for, is to put your foot up on it. And the reason they do that is because that takes a little stress off your back. So if you're doing dishes, hopefully not spending lots of time at the bar, but spending time at the sink doing dishes, you can actually open the cabinet, okay, and put one foot on the bottom of the cabinet, okay? That actually takes some pressure off your low back. Because a lot of people, when we're standing, we shift our weight from one side to the other, and a lot of us usually have a favorite side. If you know you always have a favorite side, at least being conscious of it, okay? Try to stand either with your weight evenly distributed, or switch it to the other side, just for fair measure, really, because a lot of people will notice that they, most of us shift our weight to one side or the other, and a lot of people, it's usually the same side over and over again. So if we're always doing this, we're really gonna, not only might we create an imbalance, but we really perpetuate that, okay? Let's see, what else is in there? There's a whole bunch on cleaning, like vacuuming, okay? Being bent, if you're doing a lot of cleaning and you're bent over for long periods of time, be conscious of your back, that you're not hunched over like this. Try to get yourself in a good position, and use whatever props you can to prop yourself up, and just don't get stuck in a position for a long period of time. I know a lot of times, especially when we're cleaning, you get into something, you just want to get it done, or if you're working on something, a lot of people who do woodwork or electrical work, any of those types of things, we have a tendency to just want to, so much easier, time-wise, just get through what we got to get through, but really taking breaks is, I know it takes a little longer, but it saves you in the long run, because when we're spending a lot of time in one position, that's where we really can get ourselves into trouble. What else is on there? Let's see, lifting. Everyone knows to lift with your legs. That's all well and good. The other important part of that, okay, is making sure that any weight that you're lifting is as close to you as possible. So when you're coming down to lift something, okay, lifting something out here, in a physics standpoint, is much heavier. It's not physically heavier, but it seems heavier because of levers, okay, than it is in here, okay? So make sure you bring in a weight as close to you as possible. Just as an FYI, the worst possible position for your back is this, okay? Bending with a twist is the #1 way to blow out your back, okay? And I especially, hopefully there's no delivery drivers or anything in the audience, because that's the worst, that's the worst culprit, because people are trying to do this so quickly, okay? So not only are you doing that bad thing, but you're lifting while you're doing it, and you're doing it as quickly as possible, several times a day. So that's something to watch out for. Whenever you're doing that, or if you're moving something, take the extra time, to lift first, take a step, turn with a step, and then put it down. Because really, that's why a lot of times we hear of, people throwing their back up, picking up a pen or a piece of paper, something stupid. But that's why, because we don't brace ourselves and say, all right, I'm gonna get this pen and lift. You do one of these real quick, and that's It doesn't have to be something heavy. It's that motion. It's a very weak position for our back. Okay. So sleeping positions. A lot of people always ask, what are the best? What's the best way to sleep? You get two choices. The third one is a no-no. You can either sleep on your back or your side. Okay. Stomach sleepers. Hopefully there aren't any in the crowd. But stomach sleeping. I know I always see somebody wince and go. Oh. Stomach sleeping is a no-no because that not only when you're on your stomach, okay, it allows your back to sag, okay, but it also, unless your bed looks like that, and I know it doesn't, you have to turn your head one way or the other all night long, and that really cranks the neck, and then it's really twisting your whole back. So if you are sleeping on your back, okay, you want to have a pillow between your knees, okay, under your knees to create a little flexion, all right, in your low back. That will actually take a little pressure off the low back. Right? The other thing you want to make sure is that you have enough curve behind your neck to support the curve in your neck. All right. So whether that is a lot of people will use contour pillows, okay, a pillow that actually has, you know what I'm talking about, they have like a built-in curve, okay, or the water pillows, like we use the water pillows, which is the same concept. You're just, when your head goes back, it displaces the water to support the curve in your neck, okay. Some people, if you prefer not to use pillows, you can actually just roll up a towel, all right, and put that under your neck and lay like that. Because if you're not using a pillow at all, then you're not supporting that curve, okay? And big no-no is having too many pillows also if you're on your back, because, you end up like this, okay? So now, people lay down, they do this all the time. They don't think about, like, this is what it's doing to your neck, okay? And not only does that not support the curve in your neck, that can actually reverse it and make things worse, all right? If you're side sleeping, okay? And there's nothing wrong with side sleeping either. Using a pillow between your legs is really, really helpful, right between your knees, because our knees are thinner than our hips. So if we don't do that, first of all, it puts pressure on the knees, but it also will allow and promote your back to kind of roll a little bit, okay? And that puts pressure on the hips and the low back on up the spine. All right, so putting a pillow between your knees so that basically your legs can be parallel, okay? The other thing is when you're on your side, making sure there's enough pillow between your head and the bed so that you're not, you're not doing one of these, right? And you're not doing one of these. And usually if there's not enough pillow, people hook an arm under and it's like this. Right? If you're spending hopefully 8 hours a night like this, that's trouble. That puts a lot of pressure on your neck and the shoulder and the whole shebang. All right.